Behind the glitz of the world stage, a multi-million-dollar war was brewing in the boardroom, and it ended with a single signature that sent shockwaves through the music world. For years, the narrative was simple. A child prodigy from Norway finds global fame and signs with the giants of the industry. But as we stand here in April 2026, that story has taken a sharp, unexpected turn into territory the big labels never wanted us to see. Reliable sources within the industry have confirmed that the Golden Girl of Pop officially severed ties with her major label representation following a series of heated, closed-door negotiations regarding her creative direction. It wasn't just about the music, it was about the soul of the artist. Rumors began to circulate that the suits were demanding a shift toward a more computerized, algorithm-friendly sound, something that would strip away the very vintage raw power that made her a household name. Instead of bowing to the pressure of a guaranteed billion-dollar future, she did the unthinkable. She walked away. This wasn't just a career move, it was an act of open rebellion against a system that treats artists like products on a shelf. The fallout was immediate. Legal threats surfaced, and whispers of a creative gag order began to leak from the inner circles, suggesting the label tried to bury her unreleased masters, but she didn't disappear. Instead, she took her family-run empire, MOSARZ, and proved that in 2026, the gatekeepers no longer hold the keys to the kingdom. The industry is currently scrambling to figure out how their biggest asset became their biggest rival overnight, and the repercussions are only just beginning to surface in the global markets. While most stars beg for their concerts to go viral on social media, one singer just spent months ensuring that not a single frame of her performance ever saw the light of day. The Westgate residency in Las Vegas was supposed to be the victory lap for the newly independent star, but it quickly turned into one of the most mysterious events in modern music history. Spectators arriving at the venue were met with a startling sight: security teams distributing high-tech signal-blocking pouches for every single mobile device. The lockdown was total. No photos, no videos, and no live streaming was permitted under any circumstances. But why the extreme secrecy? As an investigative look into the production reveals, this wasn't just about exclusivity, it was about a radical experiment in vocal purity. Reports from those inside the room describe a performance so raw and technically demanding that it defied the current standards of live entertainment. Speculation is rife that she was utilizing this dark zone to debut a new, unrecorded vocal range that the industry hasn't heard in nearly a century. A sound so powerful it supposedly caused physical equipment interference. Critics have suggested this was a strategic move to prevent the algorithm from dissecting her new sound before she was ready to release it on her own terms. Others point to a darker theory, that the secrecy was a necessary shield against corporate espionage from the very label she left behind. Whatever the truth, the silent residency has become the stuff of legend, leaving the rest of the world wondering what they missed behind those closed doors and why the industry is so terrified of a voice that doesn't need a digital filter to be perfect. In an era where music is carefully dripped out to maximize profit, a sudden flood of new material has completely broken the digital charts and left the experts in total disbelief. Most artists spend years crafting a single album, navigating the complex web of release dates and marketing windows dictated by their labels. But in the last 6 months, the rules were set on fire. The world watched in awe as 3 full-length albums, Secret of the Soul, Star, and Love, were released in rapid succession, bypassing every traditional gatekeeper in the business. This independent blitz wasn't just a gift to the fans, it was a calculated strike against the financial models that have governed the music world for decades. By flooding the market with high-quality, soulful content, she effectively monopolized the global streaming charts, leaving the major label stars fighting for the remaining scraps of attention. Financial analysts have noted a staggering 160% increase in her personal revenue, proving that the middleman is no longer a necessity for global stardom. However, this success has come with its own set of controversies. Rumors of chart manipulation were quickly floated by rival companies, though no evidence was ever found. Instead, the data showed a massive organic movement of listeners who were hungry for something authentic. This aggressive release strategy has forced the entire industry to rethink its approach, as they realize that an independent artist with a loyal following can move faster, work harder, and earn more than anyone tied to a corporate contract. The Jordan effect is now being studied in business schools as the ultimate example of how to disrupt an entire industry without spending a single dime on traditional advertising, and it has the major labels looking over their shoulders. It started as a childhood promise to a girl without shoes, but in 2026 it has escalated into a high-stakes legal standoff that nearly brought a multi-million-dollar production to a grinding halt. The image of the Barefoot Queen is iconic, but the reality behind the scenes is far more complicated than a simple fashion choice. During the recent Vegas shows, a major conflict erupted between the artists' camp and the venue's insurance providers. Citing workplace safety and liability risks, the venue reportedly attempted to mandate footwear for all performers on stage. For most artists, this would be a minor footnote, but for her, it was a non-negotiable vow. This led to a week of intense legal maneuvering, with experts in acoustic grounding being called in to testify about the physical necessity of her direct contact with the stage. Some supporters claim that her unique vocal resonance is actually tied to this grounding, allowing her to sense the vibrations of the band in a way that shoes would block. While that might sound like folklore, the insurance companies weren't laughing when the star threatened to walk away from the entire residency rather than break her promise. The standoff highlighted the growing divide between the corporate world's need for control and the artist's need for authenticity. Ultimately, a compromise was reached, involving custom-built, ultra-sensitive flooring, but the message was sent: she will not be managed, she will not be molded, and she will not be told how to stand. This refusal to comply with even the smallest industry norms has made her a hero to millions, but it has also placed a target on her back for those who believe that no artist should be bigger than the rules of the venue. There is a silent coup currently unfolding within the hallowed halls of the Recording Academy, and the establishment is terrified that their Big Four awards are about to be hijacked by an outsider. As we approach the next awards season, the internal politics of the music industry have reached a fever pitch. For decades, the major labels have held a virtual monopoly on the most prestigious categories, using their massive influence to sway voting blocs. But in 2026, the landscape has shifted. A massive influx of independent voters, producers, engineers, and artists who have left the major system has formed a coalition dedicated to recognizing true vocal merit over commercial backing. At the center of this storm is the Barefoot Queen. Insiders report that the Academy is in a state of total panic over the possibility of an independent sweep of album, song, and record of the year. High-level meetings are allegedly being held to discuss eligibility requirements, with some board members attempting to disqualify independent releases that didn't follow traditional distribution paths. The controversy has sparked a global conversation about the integrity of the awards themselves. Is a Grammy a measure of talent, or a trophy for the most successful corporate marketing campaign? The Jordan insurgency has forced every voter to pick a side. On one hand, you have the traditionalists who want to protect the status quo. On the other, you have a new generation of creators who see her as the only legitimate choice for the crown. The tension is so thick you can feel it in every studio from London to Los Angeles, and the outcome of this battle will likely determine the future of music awards for the next 20 years. With unprecedented fame comes an equally unprecedented level of scrutiny, and recent events have forced the world's most talked-about artist into a protective shadow that many fear she may never truly leave. In the early months of 2026, a series of security breaches and industry plant accusations began to take a toll on the star's public presence. The vocal purity movement, which she inadvertently founded, has become so intense that it has sparked a counter-movement of skeptics who claim her rise is too perfect to be real. These critics have flooded social media with theories that her independence is a psyop funded by tech billionaires to disrupt the old music economy. While these claims are largely viewed as baseless, the sheer volume of the noise forced her into a sudden, unexplained media blackout. For several weeks, her social channels went dark, and rumors of a vocal injury or a legal lockdown began to spiral out of control. However, the truth appears to be far more human. Sources close to the family suggest that the pressure of being the savior of music became a burden that required a temporary retreat to a private sanctuary in California. During this time, she reportedly focused on the Purity Act, a manifesto for artists to reclaim their digital rights and protect their voices from AI duplication. This move toward activism has only deepened the mystery surrounding her. She's no longer just a singer. She's a lightning rod for the most important cultural debates of our time. As she slowly emerges back into the spotlight this April, she's more guarded, more focused, and more dangerous to the establishment than ever before. The shadows didn't break her, they only gave her the space to plan her next move in a game where she is always 3 steps ahead of everyone else. As the dust settles on this April 2026 report, one thing is undeniably clear. The music industry is no longer the same world it was a few short years ago. We are witnessing the rise of an artist who has successfully decoded the matrix of modern fame, proving that soul, authenticity, and a little bit of rebellion are more valuable than any corporate contract. Whether she is performing barefoot in a high-security Vegas theater or releasing a trilogy of albums from her own living room, she has reclaimed the power that was once held by a few men in expensive suits. The question is no longer about her success. It's about whether the system can adapt to a world where the fans and the artists are finally in direct communication. The voice that changed everything didn't just change the charts, it changed the rules of the game forever. And as we look toward the future, we have to ask ourselves, are we ready for a world where the biggest stars are the ones who refuse to play by the rules? The answer is currently echoing in every corner of the globe, and it sounds like a voice we won't be forgetting anytime soon. Stay tuned, because the real story is only just beginning to be told.